Testing audio. Got my air conditioner on today. I wonder how that's messing with the audio. Doesn't sound super good to me. Is it soft? Off, it sounds better. Testing audio now. Does it always like cut off the first part of what I'm saying? Well, that time it didn't. It still feels, well, maybe it's just my on my. I should compare audio with somebody else. Okay, maybe not so bad. Okay. Turn my own camera. It's great. Okay. Gonna finish up the problem that we were doing last time. Make sure my stuff's muted. Okay. All right. So last time, just as a recap, we have this problem here where we're basically just trying to find the largest contiguous rectangle. And I've got some examples here of rectangles that we might find. And the big one that we want is this one. So we attempted to brute force it first, just trying every possible rectangle, but we, I don't know if my submissions here, yeah, I thought timed out. It's too slow. So my next idea was to do a pre-pass and at least understand for each square what my limits are. So like horizontally and vertically for that one column or that one row. So in this case, it's 4 because there's 4 down, and only 1 because it's just this one. Can't go any further. This one's 3 because if we're starting from here, there's only 3 left. And we could go 1. This one's 2 because there's 2 down, and then horizontally we can go all the way over to 5. So my hope was that I'd be able to, instead of having to traverse all the inner squares, I can just sort of like traverse along each of the edges for each potential corner, and that this pre-pass would be faster, because we can make some assumptions. I think I started out, I was going to try and like keep track of how far we were down, but I realized if we go backwards, it might be a little bit easier, or at very least if we were, instead of this being the 4, this was the 4, for like looking how much up we can go. Just because we're going to be looping over this traversing this way, we can keep track of just the square before us. We can go look at what's there. So imagine if I was traversing this way, I'd be able to go one. This one would be able to look at the previous one. Oh, the previous one's one, so I can be two. This one could look at this and go, oh, I can be one more than that. Whereas when we go to this one, we just look, oh, there's nothing valid, so we just start at one. And this one will be able to look at this one and go, oh, I'm one. Oh, I'm three. Right. So if we traverse so that the order that we're going over it, we can just like look at previous things before we already evaluated, then they'll be even more efficient. I don't know if I want to like reorganize this all, but yeah. I think the other like thought I had while I was, you know, stop thinking about it all, even though I turned off the stream. That rather than keeping this matrix, I'm just gonna like modify this one. Oh, but I'm in TypeScript, so types too bad. All right. I'm gonna just, I was thinking I could just like manipulate this. Like basically instead of it being an array of strings, I would just like map them onto an array of it's okay. But since we've got types, I'll be more good boy. Wonder if I should actually like type this though, like array. Hold on. Actually, I'm not familiar with this. So it would be an array. Like how do you define objects in TypeScript? Is it like this? Just checking to make sure I remember TypeScript typing. Oh hey. Um, how many years has it been now? I think 8 years in Japan. It's been that long. It's been long enough I've forgotten. Yeah, at least 7. You interested in visiting or do you live here? Can I ever show my chat on stream? Like I can, I've got like 3 chats across 3 different platforms. Just says I've been here a few times. Yeah. Um, nice. I'm guessing that you've been multiple times, you must enjoy it. So does most people enjoy their channel. A very lovely country. Yeah, I think so. Why I made it my home. Sweet. Okay. The typing is right. I'm new to TypeScript. Japanese. I mean, I'm still my Japanese is not that great. But it's gotten better. I my wife is Japanese, and I took Japanese in college, so um, and I visited Japan quite a bit before I decided to like live here. Um, but even now, it's still kind of like conversational at best. I can make small talk with my neighbors and um, go to restaurants and stuff like that, but I'm not business level. Uh, I struggle at like the if I go to the doctor or like other medical things, then it's hard. Or like the city hall. Anytime I see foreigners on Instagram or YouTube, their Japanese is always amazing. Yeah, I feel like I feel like there's a lot of bilingual people like influencers, and they're usually their Japanese is really good. I'm impressed. Their pronunciation is also really good. Some people their pronunciation could be better, but I guess I'm not one to judge. I can't do it myself, uh, but sometimes I can tell. Like, yeah, I wish. I think the main thing is I don't have enough time to practice it. I kind of I I work everything with English, and we use English mostly in my household, or at least I speak um, English mostly in the house. My kids and wife they speak Japanese to each other, but uh, there's just not a lot of opportunities for me to keep practicing. I hire a tutor once a week to practice and learn. That's good. Yeah, I was so it's kind of nice. Some places have like community center with free lessons. I was I stopped that because I was gonna start paying, and then I didn't do it. So I should probably go back to the free one. It's nice. It's like old people that volunteer their time and they'll practice with you. I heard she actually works with foreigners in Japan because there are so few chances when you're there. Ironically, yeah, yeah. It feels like I mean I don't even have the time to just go down and talk to random people, but it also feels a little, it's already awkward. I feel to generally like try and spark up conversations with strangers, but somehow it feels even more scary in Japan. I mean, that's scary. Like everyone's nice, and honestly, if you do that, they're probably really nice um, to talk to you back. Especially if you find like I think if you find old people that are just kind of sitting around, then oftentimes the like they'd be up for talking. But you have to have time to go do that stuff, especially with kids, work and stuff. It's hard. How good is your Japanese getting? And five at best. I'd say I'm, I might be able to pass N3. I I need to actually go take a test. Um, I feel more confident saying I could pass N4, N3 is pushing it. Like I'd actually really have to study hard. Um, yeah, my kanji's really bad too. I gotta like study on my kanji. Yeah, yes, they're not. Those tests are no joke for sure. I have a friend who's passed N1, um, and another friend I think who's passed N2. I'm working on N1, and it's just yeah, getting N1 is it's a lot. It's a lot. Especially just the amount of kanji you have to know, the amount of vocabulary you need to know. I'm really bad at rote memorization, and it's just daunting. I heard N1 you basically have to be able to read a research paper, N2 is being able to read a newspaper. Yeah, I mean that sounds about right to me. I'm not exactly sure, but feels like it. Yeah. The friend that's the past N1, he's worked in like Japanese companies and stuff for quite a while, so I think his Japanese is really good. And the person who's trying to get in one and two, he's actually a translator, so like he does like not like live translations, but he does like translations for apps and stuff. So their Japanese are both very good compared to mine. I heard N2 is good enough for most jobs that require Japanese ability. Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah, that feels believable, yeah. If you're N2, then you could probably get by quite a bit. It's hard though, because I guess I don't know how, because like there's a Keigo and stuff that you have to, speak more politely. I wonder how much N2 tests you on those sorts of things. I'm just not sure. I could probably ask my friends. They'll tell me. I have to like, I'm gonna talk and then like there's like a gap because especially YouTube or Twitch site's not so delayed. Uh, there's a delay, and then like, but I gotta like load the code back up in my brain. It takes a second to do the code loading. So that's maybe one problem with streaming coding is splitting between talking and like keeping the whole code thing. That's why I stopped streaming time myself. I'd be productive. It's nearly impossible. Yeah, I don't know. I've been having fun. Like, I haven't had a ton of people come and chat. I really like it when people chat. I'm mostly doing this to like practice my coding skills. And, like they, it's like an interview basically. I want to get my interviewing skills up. So even when there's nobody in the chat, though, I think just forcing myself to speak out loud, think through the problems out loud, has been really good. No problem. But sorry to be right back. Gives me a second to try to think what I was doing here. Okay. So each loop of X, we're gonna need to add another entry here. Each loop of the Y, we're gonna have to add something, but it's gonna have our width and height. We're gonna need to check both directions. If the current value, actually, if the current value is 0, then we already know what the answer is. And we can push to X. Push onto this X object that is width 0, height 0. I don't think otherwise we need to go look the other directions and see if we've got. We're trying to create this first grid. So if I guess we have to figure out both the width and the height, right? We're still going to be pushing everything on. I think just figure out width and height separately. For the width, we're going to go back one. Sorry about that. No problem. You're free to come and go as you like. Got that. Do you code or anything? Or are you mostly pulled in by the Japan stuff? I'm learning to code. Sweet. What languages are you working on? Or what kind of application? JavaScript right now. I want to make a game in 3JS. Oh, nice. Are you using like coding agents at all, or are you just learning old school? Old school, no vibe coding. Nice. I vibe coded a prototype and realized it's not good long-term strategy. Yeah, I feel like you can use vibe coding to help learn quickly. I've got a friend who's vibe coded an app, and he's like looking at the code and slowly like and asking questions to the agent to learn more about it. Um, but it can be a little bit overwhelming because the if you use an agent, it'll just like spit out a massive amount of code for you. It feels like more work to ask questions than just code it yourself. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of where I was going with it. If you ask an agent, it could just like overwhelm you with how much it outputs, and then I've just got like a wall of like text code to like work through. Um, Whereas if you lay down each brick yourself, then you understand it better. And then I guess we'll see how agents keep going, but for now, um, it's still useful to have have the coding background because then you can prompt it better. I'm not opposed to AI tools, so sure. I feel like on the coding side, there's far less backlash or like opposition to using AI. Like it's more on the art side. But really, really don't like it. I'm seeing programmers use up to 20 LMs to check against each other. Yeah, art is very, very controversial to use AI. Yeah, I feel like if you use AI art in your game, then the game's like dead on arrival because everyone will just pile drive. And but if you use AI for the coding for the game, it doesn't seem like anyone cares. Yeah, the friend that's vibe coding a lot, he's got crazy setups with lots and lots of agents, all like they got their own jobs and stuff like that. I've done a little bit of that, but mostly I kind of just like to control. I just one agent at a time. 40% of songs on Spotify are being submitted by AI, but only 1% of listens. Yeah, I mean the problem with AI art is a lot of it is there's I feel so maybe there's a hot take, but I feel like there is good AI art out there. But it's not just like a single prompt and then you're done, right? A lot of the flop out there is because somebody just prompted it. They took what it took, what got as output, and then they're done. But some people will either prompt it a lot and they'll get a lot of different variations until they get something they want, and then they'll usually take that and then they'll do additional post processing on it. Um, so like especially some shorts and stuff on Instagram, some people are telling me interesting stories, but they're actually putting in a lot more work than just prompt and answer out. Good art is being made by good artists generally. They have a fundamental understanding of what's going on. I think it's rare for pure prompt jockeys to be making interesting art. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there might be some people who have never really done much art per se, but they've got, I think they have like they've got like, I don't know what that, I don't want to say talent or the spark for it almost. Like, they're going to end up doing a lot of things that good artists do, right? It's going to take lots of iteration, uh, lots of like thinking through what the story is that you want to tell, and getting the timing and everything really good. So I think in the same way, I think there's some people making good apps that don't have any coding skills, but as they do that, like they have like an engineering mind. They start to like they either did or they are learning to think like an engineer, uh, and then you can have good apps that are built by people who don't know code. I think the same thing for art. For me in my journey right now, I prefer AI, not out of morale high ground, but just practically internal learning. I prefer avoiding AI. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think, like I said, I think if you understand, if you lay down each brick yourself, you're going to understand it a lot better than if you like let it build your wall and then like you try and study the bricks that it laid down. Good. But you can also use it. It's also a good tool for asking questions or researching things, right? So even if you end up writing the code, you can ask it like, how do I do X? Or like, why does, why happen when I do this? Yeah, exactly. Replacing Stack Overflow. Yeah. Like it can be a lot better than trying to do Google search or go to Stack Overflow because you can be very specific in your description. And it can give you really good answers. You can also paste your code and like what I've been like looking at this all day and it finds the missing semicolon or something, the, the old joke. I switched to Linux and I refused to review man pages. It's just AI. I just AI that shit. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Hey, yeah, it's just so much faster to use AI to look things up at this point. I don't know if you've probably seen the Stack Overflow usage chart, so where it's just yeah, unfortunately, Stack Overflow is almost dead. Well, unfortunately, that leads to the whole like snake eating its tail thing, where part of the reason why AI was taught so well is because it had that rich wealth of Stack Overflow to pull from, and now if nobody posts on Stack Overflow, how does the AI like when new APIs and stuff get out, how does it learn? Um, I'm sure people at OpenAI and Anthropic are thinking through this, but yeah, interesting problem. Are you following along with this problem at all, or if you want, I could like do an easier problem if you want to like challenge yourself. Problem is chill. I'm just here to vibe. Sweet. Yeah, I've never done leak code before, so I just started a few weeks ago. Um, I've done similar stuff, and obviously I've interviewed and stuff, so no problems to interviewing. Um, I feel like the hard problems aren't so hard if you just like brute force it, but you have like they're hard because you can't brute force it. Being able to do a hard problem is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I've been coding for good lord, how old am I? Like almost 30 years now. Yeah, since I was very young, I've been coding and school and did all that, and then I've been in the industry for I think I've got it listed somewhere. 15 years at a FAANG company, but then 4 years at a game company before that, and various things before that. So I've been doing this a long time. Uh, I'm trying to do the opposite of this, or I wrote down my numbers this way, but I'm actually going to be doing it. I think I'll shoot my number. It's going to be like this. Do the opposite. Well, except for the 0.5. What's your go-to drink in Japan? I'm on a Suntory highball or Asahi beer man myself. Yeah, I think beer usually. I like uh Sapporo or the dragon one, Kidding. Um, but I've been trying to watch my weight recently, so I've been trying to back off on it as much. Sometimes I drink the all free sometimes when I really want to I want something that's close to taste, but they're not a substitute. uh, and then sake is kind of my gateway. I actually didn't drink until I was pretty old in life, and sake was the way that I started to drink. I really liked it. We want to try Japanese cigarettes. I'm not. My parents smoked when I was a kid, but I've never smoked, so I can't say anything one way or the other way. All I know is that the Cabinis have the giant wall of different cigarette types. When I first started drinking sake, I really liked the sweet sake, um, and that's what got me into it. But now I almost can't even drink the sweet sake. I really like the dry, like okay, Tumai or something. It's good. Yeah. Sometimes for work, I get to go on ANA, the Japanese Airlines, and they for business stuff they have um, different sake, and those some of those sake are really good. I'm very impressed. Cannot for life means you're gonna play and I get sick as fuck. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, I don't get too. I'm not so bad at motion sickness. I don't generally get motion sickness. Probably the only time I get motion sickness is with like poor VR games. Um, like VR will sometimes get me if it's lagging too much or if it's too much motion that doesn't match the situation. But other than that, planes, cars, I can read on the car. I'm usually pretty good. Yeah, I'm assuming you hate. I hate VR. I assume because of the motion sickness. Should we figure out how to put stream? Let me see if I can. 4K monitors, $200 mice, 500 custom mechanical keyboard, and you want me to put on a headset and jiggle two joysticks like a child? Sure, yeah, we gotta really. I feel like for especially games, right? If you're the games on PC and even console feel like that's way better than VR for sure. Uh, I mostly play uh Beat Saber, so like the like sticks and stuff like that, and mostly for it's a good cardio. Um, I think I think when it first came out, it was kind of fun and interesting, but that's the only thing that's really stood the test of time. Is there a way on Twitch to just pull out only the? Because I think YouTube you can pull out chat and just a single window. How do I see pin messages. I see collapsing. I see I see chat settings. Shield mode, slow mode. I'm just gonna go ask an AI to tell me how to do it. I'll do up which chat out to you just go slash chat, I guess. This Japanese work culture as hell on earth as they make it sound. So I luckily have not had to work at a Japanese company, but I have friends who have, and I, I think the answer is it depends on the company. There's still hit and miss, but yes, like it sounds pretty horrible. There we go. Can I do it here? No, it doesn't show the history. Okay, so I gotta put it in a login one. I see this guy on YouTube called Salaryman. He works 16 hours a day sometimes. Yeah, there's some companies like that. It's crazy. I I mean, I don't know. I feel like so I have several friends who live here, and it feels like they go through a lot of churn with companies uh because it's just like not fun, and like they get sick of it. They're trying to join the company. Yeah, I don't know what 16 hours a day mean. Like that's just are they really working for the whole 16 hours, or are they just like playing solitaire on the computer and looking like they're busy? And how much of that is like going out and drinking as part of the culture? I don't have the details on that because I've never worked one of them. Now they're just staring at the screen. Yeah, but no, I mean, I hear the same rumors, and it seems to be somewhat true that at least there are some companies that are that bad. There's also lots of companies that seem far less bad than that. But in general, I think there is a lot of culture around working extra, working late, um, putting the needs of the company ahead. And then like, yeah, the whole drinking after work and stuff. There's plenty of, I feel like husbands who almost have no time to see their families because they're just working so hard. Which is crazy. Um, I'm almost there in Twitch chat. I'm just trying to figure out how to have my big mic. Okay. Now the question is like, how do I make it not up the whole screen? Also, can I make it? Always get it there. I'll put this down here. Of course, now I'm fighting this. Here's the other problem with doing trying to do coding streams is I need the problem, I need my current code, I need my UI explanation, I need my picture of myself, I need the hook text, and then if I want Twitch, if I want chat up there too, I guess it's so many things. All right, here's the other question: can I make chat dark mode? Is there dark mode for chat appearance? Readable colors. Oh, wait, dark theme. There's a dark theme for all of Twitch. If I reload it, we'll go back to, okay, there we go. All right, sweet. All right, I got dark mode for. There we go. Oh, we got chat. Now you can see yourself. Okay. Zoom in. The whole problem where this is undefined. This will be undefined, and this will probably show. So if you ever have any coding questions or something, just let me know. Happy to share my experience. So that's not part of this. Got all this built up knowledge. I have to share with people. Okay. So if if we can't index the previous one, we go back. And I'm gonna fill it with zeros, so if the last one was nothing, then it'll just be this plus one, it'll be one. Same thing in the other direction. Otherwise, actually I think otherwise it's one. If there's no before, then we'll just assume like said, this is a on part. And then we need to explore those cases. Okay. And I'm it's like log on registers just to see if we're on the right track. So hopefully I'll get something similar to this thing up here. Something like this. Doesn't exist. Property W does not exist in type. Okay, this is probably okay. So I probably am not doing TypeScript object properly. So TypeScript this type. Pretty sure that's looks right. Oh, is this supposed to be a semicolon instead of a? Well, I think that would have like complaints, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Property W does not exist on type. An object that clearly has W array. Oh, right. Okay, that's like me. I need another indexing here. Um, so for the X, we want to stay. It's just this, right? That's actually X and Y. Gonna. No, I'm not gonna worry about it erring on me. I'm just gonna do it and then we'll see if it errors on with it. Y. There's one Y and it's gonna probably up around. Keyboard doesn't have an end or a home key. It's messing me up. Okay. X minus 1, Y, X minus 1, Y. Get the width, and Y, Y minus 1, well, get the height. Okay. Oh, let's see if that's right. Yep, that's what I was worried about. Okay, so I need to know if I heard somewhere Japan's prime minister is making it gradually more difficult to get a visa. Yeah, I probably should be looking into it more, but so far what I've seen is they've increased the price of permanent residence. So when I go to renew, I'm guessing it's gonna be almost double what the fees were before. Um, and then they've extended for if you want to become a citizen, I know they've extended. Actually, I'm not even sure if this passed yet, but they're at least trying to make it so that you have to be here for 10 years instead of 5. Um, and a few other things. Yeah, they're definitely tightening it up. Um, I mean, the whole world's kind of moving in this direction, I feel like, but yeah. Do you plan on becoming a citizen? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Um, generally speaking, the U.S. Passport is stronger than the Japan passport for stuff, and unless I really want to vote or something, yeah, I wouldn't want to give up my citizenship in the U.S. That's exactly right. That's the trade-off that doesn't quite make it worth it. It is annoying that I have to do taxes in both countries every single time. Um, but I don't know if the annoyance of that is worth like losing. I feel like the main reason I would want to get citizenship is if I thought it was the only way to stay. Right? Like if you're a Japanese citizen, then I'm gonna guess they're like if you've already got the citizenship, I think it's less likely for them to kick you out if the government everything starts to become more and more isolationist or whatever. Um, they don't want as many foreigners. How do you stay in Japan uh if you're retired with the U.S. passport? So my wife is Japanese, so I have permanent residence via my marriage, basically. So yeah, but find yourself a good Japanese woman or man, as the case would be. Yeah, basically. That's the easy way. Um, when I came over, my company spot was bringing me over, so they sponsored my work visa. But then I've been married for a long time now, so I was married before that. We lived together in America for a long time. So um, once I got here on the work visa, just 'cause it was easier, the company was handling it. I immediately switched to a permanent resident via my marriage. And yeah, now I don't need to worry about it. I'm pretty sure even if something were to happen to her or the marriage or something, I think now that I've got the permanent residency, I get to keep it. Well, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. Um, I don't know. I haven't looked too deeply into it. I guess sometime if it ever comes to pass, but I'll worry about it. My kids speak both languages pretty well, so if worse comes to worse, I could go back to the US, but I'd really rather not. I like it here. I love visiting Japan, but I don't know if I could live there full time. Yeah, I mean I don't think there's definitely trade-offs. I don't think it's for everybody. And then I think a lot of people they come here one time and then they like love it so much and they're like, cool, I want to move there. And it's like, you should maybe learn a little bit more before you do it. And then I think work is a really you brought up work. It's a really good trade-off. I had it really, really nice because I'm living in Japan, but I'm working for an American company. If you can manage that, that's the best. And you get like the nice work environment of an American company. Um, but even so, yeah, like if you don't speak the language really well, it can feel very isolating. Um, I'm kind of a nerd anyway, so the isolation part didn't scare me too much. But some people they're kind of social butterflies. Sometimes it can be really hard. I think the ideal situation is a digital nomad thing. A month here, a month there, but that's rare. Yeah. I mean if you can afford the flight tickets and everything, and I guess the hotels too, because it depends on if you're talking about getting like a permanent place here or something. But yeah, like financially, it can be really hard. And then yeah, you have to have a job that lets you do it. But if you can do it, that's awesome. Definitely fun. I feel like I have a lot of friends in America who come to Japan like once a year. Um, it's like their only vacation spot at this point, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I can get that. There's just like some really good food and really beautiful things to see. Um, I can see coming on a repetitive basis if you couldn't swing it financially. Uh, Talked to someone who was a software engineer and he worked for an American company with a Japanese team, so he somehow figured out finagle the dual country situation. Yeah, yeah. It was very strange. He claimed he visited the plants every day. Hey man, sounds fun. Don't get in trouble. Don't get caught by the yakuza or something. There's a lot of. I have not visited a lot of the CD underside of Japan, so I don't know much about that stuff either. But, but I've definitely heard about it. Might be too much information, but my friend convinced me to visit a massage parlor. I don't recommend it. This was recently. Not a good experience. Just like it was like super awkward and I mean you don't have to say you don't want to. I mean there's no intimacy, whatever. Yeah. Oh that's too bad. Yeah, if it's just very mechanical, I can see that. It was just a nothing crazy. Yeah, yeah, I mean that's what massage parlors usually do. Yeah, I mean I feel like sexuality is like everyone's kind of got different needs and stuff, and for some people, like even if it's mechanical, it's fine. But yeah, I think for a lot of guys, there's no connection or whatever, then it can be hard. Yeah, I had some friends take me to like a strip club once, and yeah, it was just not for me. Like it felt very weird. I don't judge anyone who visits sex workers, but for me, I need the romance to build up. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I'll have fun, but it's just not for me. Yeah, totally. Okay, my two cases are right. I'm just gonna check this one to see if this one's right. Oh, that's the only confusing thing for me is what's width and what's height. 11001100. That's because yeah, this one's gonna be 11. It'll be 12. This one's gonna be actually this one's gonna be 3. I've originally done all these numbers the opposite direction, but I realized for efficiency I should go the other way. All these numbers going to be updated. Here, this will be 4, 2, and this will be 5, 1. What do you enjoy doing when you come to Japan? Like, what's your go-to then? Uh, is it mostly the food, or like you just said The intimacy. Eating the food, enjoying the tourist traps, basic stuff. Yeah, yeah. Have you been, I guess I don't know, I forgot how many times you said you went. Have you been to like very south and very north? Have you been to different places, or do you usually just go to Tokyo? Hiroshima, Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, Kaido, Hiroshima. Do you have a favorite location? I really like Hokkaido. Uh, Kyoto. Nice. I feel like the food and everything was a little quiet for you. I just like the food and everything was really good in Hokkaido. I think before I went to Hokkaido, I mostly had Kirin, and then I went to Hokkaido and had like the really good Sapporo, and then I've been drinking a lot more Sapporo, and then um, just like all the yeah everything milk related, like the milk, the cheese, the ice cream. We had a bunch of stuff there. It was just and then they have the I forget what it's called, the Genghis Khan. Oh, it was really good. It's like the lamb, like yakiniku but lamb. That was really good. Yeah, yeah, I'm in Tokyo, the wide Tokyo area. I'm pretty far from like the city, but I can go to the studio. So I'm in Shinjuku and Shibuya a fair amount. I go there to get the food. Like if I wanna have a good lunch, then I take the train and go all the way into the city and then get good lunch. I like Tokyo, but I get the vibe a lot of locals are tired of the tourists. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The I feel like when I first came to Japan, it was like 16 years ago or something. I was like, I was the only white guy. I was like, it was all Japanese. That's part of the culture shock is you come here and it's like, it was, I'm used to living in America, or even if I go to like Europe and stuff for travel, it still feels like there's quite a bit of mix of people. But when I first came to Japan, it was just like, wow, it's only Japanese. But now it feels like it's more tourist than Japanese. You go to Shibuya or Shinjuku, and it's mostly tourists. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit. It's at least 50-50. There's at very least there's tourists everywhere. It's just sometimes you get on a train, it feels like it's only tourists in there. And it's kind of crazy how much it's changed. I think that's a good thing, to be honest. Not to speak on Japanese culture. I think like I think it's good to I mean, like America is cool because of the melting pot, right? And I feel like introducing some outside culture into Japanese culture can be good. Um, I feel like over tourism of some places has caused some issues, but like I can understand, right? Because it's also one thing to like have people come here, live here, and actually like mix in, right? So they're trying to adhere to the norms here, but also like introduce or push back on certain things. I think that could be good. Uh, and tourists can do a little bit of that. But when it's just like when there's so much tourism that like um, you're always gonna have some percentage of bad apples, right? Even if 90% or 95 or even I guess in this scale, even 99% of the tourists are perfectly like respectable, kind people, whatever. Like you get that those bad seeds that come in, and as the volume goes up, then it's just like they start to cause problems. And sometimes it's not even like bad actors per se. It's just like they just don't understand the culture and they don't take the time to understand. So they like it just causes a lot of like difficulties for people here, and that could be frustrating. That'd be my like, take on it. versus this 2, this is 3. That should be 3, 1. Let's be 5. This would be 3. Okay, let's see if that's right. 1 0 0 1 1 0 0. Oh, I guess I got my numbers also flipped here. 2 1 0 0 2 1 1 2 1 3 3 1 1 2 3 3 2 4 and 2 5, and then 1 4 0 0 0 0 3 1. Sweet. Okay, so we've got this now. It's in a pre-pass. I think I didn't even use these things. We've got what that gives us is we know what the, looking in another direction, what the number of available squares are. So we're gonna treat this as the bottom right corner of our rectangles. This would be like, this would be like a potential. Then it's 2. This would be potential. This would be potential. So now when we come over here and we start doing this one, we don't need to check. We can basically just run down this set of numbers. Sorry, playing this well, but we're trying to find one of these rectangles. It's going to be our bottom right of it, and we're going to be able to just check each of these numbers and each of these numbers to figure out all the possible rectangles that where this would be the bottom right corner. And we don't have to check every possible inner rectangle. So we'll see if that's enough speed to get this thing to finish. But now I've got to do the second loop, which is actually go check all these. So, our way. Oops. Okay. I don't even know what to press. 11. What's your favorite Japanese food? Your go-to. Yeah. If you're like me, then it's hard to pick one. Like anything with a dry noodle. Oh, interesting. When you say dry noodle, you mean like with that? Man, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, so nice. So you like skimming over ramen? Kind of interesting. I like ramen so much better than skimming. Like I just feel like I feel like even the noodle quality is better when I get ramen chops. Uh, Like yeah, I'm curious why. Like it can just adjust how much flavor is in the noodle. I see. So you like the, yeah, you gotta eat your ramen pretty fast, but you gotta get good at not burning your face off. Uh, and then if you really do want more too, you gotta ask for it, which if you don't know the language can be hard. Especially, I feel like ramen shops tend to be more like it tends to be harder to find once you speak English. Um, yeah, as an American, like I grew up with like soft, overcooked noodles pretty much consistently my whole life. So I didn't even know the term al dente. as like a concept. My wife introduced me to all of this, and I can say like, yeah, definitely less cooked noodles, like with a little bit of like tuna and still is way better than overcooked noodles. Uh, I agree. I just feel like I don't know. Maybe I just haven't had like a ton of schema. Maybe I need to try more. But I feel like usually all the things like added together are usually better at like a ramen shop than schema shop. Like if you include like the tacho and the egg and the pasta, like all of that together tends to be like the ingredient I feel like are better at a ramen shop. I guess I'm not opposed to the noodles being separate per se. I'd be fine with the noodles separate. As long as they don't clump up. Do you ever have problems with like them? I feel like I haven't had this problem, I guess, outside of the house. Like when I do this at home, the noodles clump together. But in restaurants, I don't know how they keep them separate. Gotta stir it. Like Japanese takes on Western dishes, I think these like curry too, sometimes more than traditional Japanese food. Yeah, I feel some people say Japanese food does other countries' food better than theirs countries. I kind of feel like that sometimes. Uh, it won't be authentic, but whatever the Japanese palate is, I really like that palate. So, like, there's like Mexican food is really hard to find here, and maybe an exception is because I do really like authentic Mexican, but sometimes you'll get these like Mexican places that are like, it's really good. It's not Mexican food, but whatever it is, it's really good. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of really good Indian curry here. Um, it, usually the Indian curry is you can usually they have like a way for you to pick, so you can choose how much hot, and oftentimes there's like a sweet version, not hot at all, and it's a little sweet. I usually go for like the one or the two. Too spicy. If you're looking for authentic Mexican food, then Japan is not the place to go. It is extremely hard, almost basically impossible to find authentic Mexican food in Japan. But there's some places that have the title Mexican food, and in form and shape, it kind of looks like Mexican food. It tastes really good. It's just not Mexican food. I don't know. It doesn't taste. It's not the same flavor profile. I think just Japanese don't like that flavor profile of Mexican food. Gotta go, man. It was nice talking to you. Followed you. Hope to see you again. Yeah, sure. I'm usually Japan time Wednesdays. That's what I've been trying to do. Thanks for talking. It was fun. I'll finish up my problem. Hopefully, let's see. Um, yes, for each one, I have to go through. Check all the widths and all the heights. And this will start with, I'm going to go backwards with everything. So we'll start with x equals, equals start x and start y. Well, technically, we're going to be starting at the end. We'll call this the right x and the bottom y. And we have to check the left x. We'll start at x. And while it's greater than or equal to 0, left x minus minus. I'm not sure if this is right, but I'm gonna go with it for a second. Going to look at actually wait, do we need to look at okay, we're sitting down here at a square. We're going to we still need these things. Look at LX. Oh, right. I completely forgot that we need to keep track of um, max width. So, like, or I guess minimum height. Max height. Well, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But basically, we're going to go down this thing. And like, when we get down here, even though we could technically go 3, we can't go more than 2 because that would require us to like increase here. Um, so it's gonna be, it can't be more than 2, even though this one's more. And then we go to here, it can't be more than what this thing's value is. And it's gonna have to keep getting smaller and smaller because even though this one's now 3, it can't go back up to 3. So it's gonna start with whatever this first one is. Maybe we should just do that like the max height. Maybe we want to start with x minus 1. It's gonna take this x and this y. And we're going to take the height. So whatever the max is there. I have to deal with the case where like, there's only one value. I'm skipping over that, but for now this is fine. The no, it's not. Max area equals math more math dot max of sorry, I'm gonna go through a bunch of these in 1 second. Trying to figure out how do I count. So we're gonna go through each one of these squares, and then for each one of these squares, we have to go through this direction and this direction. So first we're doing the x's, and that's what we're doing. I want to go through each of these, and the width, check the check width, the width that we're going to check is lx minus x minus lx, right? Because it'll be 5 will be smaller plus 1 because it's the same type as even over here, it's still the square is 1. And the check height equals. Actually, I think we need to update max height. Max height equals math.min of since it always gets smaller, I think actually we can just check height this current position. So we're gonna have to get, but it's not x, it's lx, right? And then max height is the minimum of current max height and the check height, right? And then the maximum area is the maximum of existing area and max height times check width. I think that's right. I'll think through it more to make sure it's right, but let's just try it and then see what happens. Then we do the same thing the other direction. Width equals width now. We're gonna do lx it's bottom y, top right. So select y and go above. We probably should also early out, right? If yeah, we'll probably early here. If go back to the original, if the matrix value at this position is 0, then no reason to even check the white ones. Then also in here, if max height becomes 0, we can be done. As soon as we get to 0, we're done. This one too. Now this is max width instead of y minus lx. One let's check height. Check width would be x y width, and then we want to do check width. And then max area, max area, max width, and check height. Okay, that was a lot of little things that I could have got wrong. Why can I not? The scroll's not proper. Scrolling. Okay. Okay. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. And I think for the 1-1 that's gonna fail, but can't find that x y. Oh, if rx and by. Rx, ry, right? dy, sorry. Dy or x. Oh, this is dy. There's no ry. It's the top line. Let's see if I got them all now. Rx and dy. Rx dy and not ly. It's top y. Oh, sweet. How do I actually didn't think this case would work. But I guess I switched it, so it is checking the first one anyways. Just the only thing I'm thinking is like, I don't need to index into here. Might take me a second. All right, well, let's see if that's fast enough now. I think either way, this might be it for today because I gotta do this stuff. Yay, it ran. We are really sucky compared to other people at our efficiency and our memory, but it runs. I do think there's a few things I could do to improve that. Well, hey, it runs and it passes all test cases. So this was a better way to do it than this way. I guess I've already gone over this a few times, but just to recap, like the the first thing we were doing is for each corner, essentially, we're going looping through this grid as assuming each value is a corner. Our first way of doing this was for each possible corner, check all possible rectangles that could be that part of that corner. And we were early out, right? If we got to a point where we can't go any further this direction or this direction, then we would stop out. But it's just a lot. And the thing we failed on was there was a massive grid of all positives. So you really had to just like, no matter if you're earning out, you really had to check the combinatorial explosion of like for every x, for every y, for every remaining x, for every remaining y. It's just insanity. Our second pass was to pre-cache what's the possible like for this row or this column, how much further can we like how far can we go? And then rather than having to traverse the columns, we can just go down the one row and the one column for each corner to check every possible rectangle. So this first thing is creating these numbers, and the second thing is the second thing is just going for each possible corner, go through this one row and this one column for that corner and figure out all the possible rectangles. And that's quite a bit better. Now, obviously, people are beating me out on efficiency, so there's probably a lot more I could do, or there might be even a better, smarter way to do this. Some things that I look for is like, at least from memory, I know that I'm allocating a whole nother array. And also the way that I'm doing it is like I'm pushing onto this thing in a loop. I could probably maybe I could like pre-allocate all of this extra space, or if I could batch it into the string somehow, maybe, as long as that wasn't too slow. There might be ways I could save on memory here. Like I said, I'm probably indexing here. I don't need to for the max height. I could just assume. Actually, I think they give us a max in here for the description. So yeah, I could just like, it's not gonna be more than 200. It's like a very small win, but an easy one. And we can just keep going through and efficiently making it more efficient. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think if there is a better way of doing this on an interview, they probably would have guided me towards it more. Um, not super interested here in bashing my head against the wall. Maybe there's some like very clever way of doing this. It's even better than what I came up with. But it runs and it's fast enough that it runs. So I'm happy. And I think I'm gonna call it for the day. Good. We had a chatter. That was fun. Have a good day.